it's not worth it to drive without chains.
This May, get active with the Shasta Bike Month and Challenge. For both beginner and experienced cyclists, you can ride anywhere, anytime during the month of May. Whether it's to work, the store, or a leisurely spin on a trail, every ride counts. Join the challenge and log your rides with the Love to Ride platform. Compete as a team of coworkers, friends, or family. Every bike ride you take earns you chances to win local prizes. Sign up today at ShastaBikeChallenge.org.
From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Well, happy Friday morning to you. It was a hot day out there yesterday. Some of the warmest we've seen for many of us in the valley did top out at least 90 degrees. One of the warmer spots in Corning at 92, 91 for Oroville, and right around 90 for Redding, Red Bluff, and Chico. Temperatures even in the mountains pretty warm in the 70s and 80s, but yeah, much cooler along the coast there. Temperatures were in the low 50s. All right, so here's your weather headlines. It's going to be a little bit cooler, a little more unsettled here for today and Saturday. Who sees the rain, who doesn't? We'll get into that a little bit later. Now, the peak of the cooling trend will be on Saturday. Now, it's not as cool as we initially thought, but it will be cooler nonetheless. And the other headline, the bigger one, will be the gusty winds today through Sunday for some of us, the valley and the coast in particular. But then after that, as we go into next week, I think it's going to be drier and it's going to be warmer, really drying out by Sunday. Now, we're going to get into all of that. Who's going to see the rain? Who's going to see the thunderstorms? Who won't see rain in your deeper dive forecast? But let's get you through today. All right, so those of you that have to work outdoors, for the valley, I think you'll be okay. But some of the mountain locations, I think it's a different story. But out the door this morning, it's going to be nice and, mild. We'll call it low 60s for the valley, mainly 40s and 50s for the higher elevations, and some fog still along parts of the coast. So we look at the satellite image. Doesn't look very impressive, does it? We just got a line right here. What's happening here? Well, we've got a trough of low pressure, speckled clouds as cooler air. What's going to happen is this is going to split in two. So this energy is going to move down to our south and this energy way to our north. It's the energy moving to the south that will eventually develop its own area of low pressure. And that's going to have an impact on our weather here over the next 48 hours or so. So let's get you right into it. We'll just get you through today. Now there's the clouds and fog along the coast. It's going to have a hard time burning off here this afternoon. We'll call it mostly cloudy. Midday, still dry, but we're starting to see those clouds developing. Now, most of those clouds, you'll notice, are developing to the east, to the north, and a little bit off to the west here. And, of course, we're still seeing the mostly cloudy skies along the coast. Now, as we go into the afternoon on Friday, today, there's the showers and thunderstorms. Most of it looks to be in Lassen and Modoc counties. Now, we're starting to see some development here, western Tehama, maybe western Shasta. We could even see some development for parts of Trinity County, and maybe even a little bit of development this afternoon for parts of Siskiyou County. But the bulk of it right now looks to be confined off to the east at 3 p.m. today. Okay, now let's take it about 5 o'clock. We're seeing some development possibly around parts of the valley here. It's not entirely out of the question. So I would say most likely it's going to be dry, but we're seeing most of it kind of spreading off to the west here by 5 p.m. Most of it's to the north. We're still seeing some activity in Modoc County and maybe a stray sprinkle or light shower elsewhere. But if you look at it, this is not a very impressive or a big deal, is it? We go into 10 o'clock tonight. Most of it's to the north of the valley. We take you out towards Mount Shasta, Siskiyou County, maybe a chance for some overnight showers and thunderstorms there. In fact, I think the bulk of any rain in Siskiyou County will be overnight tonight and early tomorrow morning. And we'll get into what we expect for Saturday in your deeper dive here in just a bit. But let's talk about the winds too. The winds are picking up a little bit here for parts of the valley in particular, coming in from the south around Chico and Red Bluff around, say, 15, 20 miles per hour. Maybe a little bit stronger coming in from the north for places like Redding. A little breezy off to the east, a little breezy for the coast, but nothing major. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday that I think we're going to see those stronger winds here. So even tonight, still a little breezy here for parts of the valley. Now, with that all said, there's a beach hazard statement for today for the coast. This is until about 5 p.m. today. We've got those large breaking waves, something to be aware of if you're going to be spending some time on the beaches today. So here's today. Temperatures low 80s, much cooler than it was yesterday, and that's the cooling trend will continue into tomorrow. There's the thunderstorm chances best off to the east. Again, we could see a stray shower thunderstorm for Trinity County and parts of Siskiyou County, but most of it I think will be to the east and fairly dry, maybe a sprinkle or two this afternoon. Elsewhere, all right, we take a look at your 7-day forecast, and we're going to start off with the valley. So I've got breezy, windy. Basically, the winds are going to be off and on here, and the strongest, I think, will be on Sunday for everyone in the valley. But notice no raindrops falling from these clouds, nothing. So as I mentioned, places like Redding, Red Bluff, Cottonwood, Palisadro, Old Shasta, City of Shasta Lake, all have that potential for late afternoon, early evening, sprinkle light shower, maybe an off chance for a thunderstorm. That's worth watching for today. But by tomorrow, most of it is going to be in the higher elevations. But that being said, there still is that potential for a pop-up here and there for parts of the valley. So that's also worth watching. But bottom line, not much going on here for the valley. Many of you in the valley are going to make it through today and tomorrow without even seeing a drop of rain. For the coast, mainly dry. Now today and tomorrow, maybe a stray sprinkle, maybe a light shower here and there. That's it. That's also the case for the inland areas. Best chance for any activity will be this afternoon and evening for Trinity County. Otherwise, mainly dry on Saturday. Sunday, it's dry across the board. Okay, now we take a look at Mount Shasta, Modoc County, Eastern Mountains. Best chances for showers and thunderstorms today and tomorrow are right here, Modoc County, Eastern Mountains. Elsewhere, it's not really until this evening that I think the best chances for Siskiyou County. So overnight is when we see the bulk of it. Saturday, mostly cloudy. There, yeah, maybe a stray sprinkle light shower, but most of it's going to be the east of Siskiyou County, in Modoc County, in the Eastern Mountains. Then we're dry across the board on Sunday, warming up and drying out, that is, as we go Monday through next week. So that's your quick cast, at least as quick as we could get through. Do want to remind you, here's a great resource for you. Put it on in the background. If you own a business that has a waiting room, this is a great resource for you. It's free. All you have to do is just get a smart TV with YouTube on it, or get a Fire Stick, Roku. We've got other devices coming soon, by the way, so we're very excited about that. But it's a 24-hour streaming channel, and it's all local, folks. It's all about local neighborhood forecast, latest video forecast like the one you're watching right now. You can see all the information on what we call the L bar. You've got 7-day forecast for 10 different locations, current conditions for 10 different locations. This is a great resource. Check it out. It's free, 100%. 24-hour streaming channel. It's going all the time, 24 hours, 7 days a week. All right, so there it is. This is the line that I'm watching here. This is the cooler air that's moving on in. This is going to split in two, as I mentioned. It's the south end of that split that's going to impact us the most as we go into the next few days. All right, so let's get you into it. Let's get you through the weekend. There's the fog this morning along the coast. We still see the clouds throughout the afternoon. Clouds developing by midday, but still dry. Now, the afternoon, most of it is here. This is where we're seeing most of the thunderstorms. Could we see a stray shower thunderstorm here? Dry by tomorrow morning. But look at the clouds for the valley. Now, this is going to be a key to our forecast as far as any showers or thunderstorms developing in the valley. Now, you see how the clouds are sticking around. Now, there is a bit of clearing. You can see right here. That's important to take note, because if we get enough clearing in parts of the valley, and really anywhere, you've got a chance for some mid to late afternoon showers and thunderstorms developing. Now, it looks like most of the instability will be off to the east, and now it looks like places like Bernie have a better chance eastward. But look at elsewhere. There's not a lot of activity, is there? Now, you can see as we go into Saturday afternoon, most of it's to the east, Bernie eastward, Lassen County, Modoc County. Again, this is where we have the best chances for thunderstorms for both today and tomorrow. It's this area right here. And then some of it a little bit more to the west, closer to Bernie by Saturday. But you see this right here that's popping up? That's an indication of some of the clearing that we could see in some areas. So if you get enough clearing for the first half of the day tomorrow, you could see a stray shower or thunderstorm pop up. But overall, I think many of us in the valley, including Redding, Red Bluff, Corn, anywhere, many of us could make it through the afternoon or throughout the day tomorrow without a drop of rain. Look at Trinity County. Look at Siskiyou. Look at Del Norte, Humboldt counties. Not a drop of rain in the forecast here. Now, could you see a stray sprinkle, maybe a light shower through the day on Saturday? Sure, not out of the question, but not much going on. Then we're thinking maybe some lingering showers Sunday morning. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. So by Sunday, we are done with these chances. We're going to clear things out Sunday afternoon, and we're looking at dry conditions. Getting warmer too. So looking at the latest forecast model data, this is mainly from, maybe this evening and tonight. But overall, you can see not much going on in the valley. We're seeing most of it to the north and east. I think this might be overdoing it, quite honestly. You might pick up a 100th here and there, but overall, not much going on off to the west. All right, so let's take a look at the winds through the weekend. Here we are, Friday, 5 p.m. today. Mainly northwest winds from the north end of the valley, south winds from the south. Nothing major, just a bit breezy out there, a little breezy for the coast and off to the north and east. It's tomorrow that we're going to see those stronger winds. Now, you see 8 o'clock in the morning, not that big of a deal. The winds are picking up here for the coast in particular. And you can see here, north winds, 15, 20, 25 miles per hour in the valley. We'll call it breezy again. We'll call it windy, though, for the coast. You're talking 25, 35 miles per hour, approaching 40. But look at Sunday. Look at that. Now you're approaching 40 miles per hour in some cases for the valley. So this is when I expect some of the strongest winds. No advisories just yet, but that may change later today. That may change over the weekend because we do expect some of the strongest winds here for your Sunday. That may linger on into Monday. We'll see. So here's what's going on. There's the cooler air moving. Remember I was talking about it splitting in two? There's the split right here. Here's the split. We've got this area of low pressure right here, another one off to our north. So by Saturday, you've got the area of low pressure. The rotation around that is what's helping to produce the instability. And the cooler temperatures and the winds. This is helping generate those winds. That pushes to the south over Southern California. This is going to be another reason why we have the winds. High pressure here, low pressure here. We're in the squeeze play. We get those strong north winds for Sunday. Now the cooler air is still in place, but it's beginning to warm up on Sunday. Then we go into your Monday, really all the way through next week. High pressure will be the dominant feature. Now, the main area of high pressure will be off to our east. We are seeing some of this cooler air trying to move in, but it's going to be warmer next week. We're talking upper 80s on average for the valley, but I think some of us getting into the 90s too. So it's warming up. Warmer than normal is what we're expecting here over the next 10, 14 days or so. So it's going to be pretty warm out there. 10-day trend. There's that drop, not as much as we were thinking initially. We're back up to the upper 80s, maybe some low 90s through next week into that next weekend. So we'll be above normal. It's going to be pretty warm. Your wave heights for today, not that much of an issue, but by this evening, by tomorrow.
River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Kruger. Sorry for the late delay here. I don't know what happened. I had to reboot my computer upon going for the live update, so I went ahead and updated everything, and everything was fine. I have to open up this program, and this program, I don't have a complete 100% really good grasp of that program. So whenever I have to reboot it and reopen it, in order to get it to the way I like it and want it, I have to really relearn the program. So one of those things is getting to where I can press just a quick toggle on the computer and say, hey, do a Facebook Live, along with YouTube and everywhere else it goes. For some reason, for the life of me, cannot find where to find that setting where I can put that toggle on there. So I was able to kind of do this little backdoor thing and figure it out, but it took me some time. So again, I apologize for the delay in all of that. Hopefully you were able to get on and check it out. It does show that, yeah, people are watching. So here we are. I hope it's working. According to, here, we're going to do this together. We're going to do a little checking everything and making sure everything's fine. We're going to go ahead and exit, and we're going to go into the Roku. Oh, there it is. Okay. So it is there. That's not what I want. Oh, shoot. Then, of course, I panic, and I'm doing this live, so now I'm like, all right, now I got to figure out everything what I need to do here. That should work. All right, and I'll put the sponsor back up. There's the sponsor, Wind River. All right, good. There we go. Yeah, okay, so we got people commenting. That's good. All right, everything's back to normal. Ay, ay, ay. Whew. Good morning. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're having a great start to your, well, close to the weekend here. Just one more work day before we go into the weekend. You know, we've got some showers in the forecast, but here's the thing. For those of you that are in the valley, most likely your outdoor plans are going to be okay. This evening may be a little tricky, especially for the north end of the valley, say around Redding, maybe as far south as Red Bluff, so between Redding and Red Bluff. But in particular, the farther north you go, the better the chances. City of Shasta, Lake Palisadro, Old Shasta, for example. That's late afternoon, early evening. But we'll look at that in our deeper dive forecast and everything and all that good stuff a little bit later. But first, now that we're getting a late start, let's not waste any more of your time, and let's take you right to Kruger's Quickcast and go into a quick forecast here for you. For those of you that are in a hurry and just want to get a quick look at the forecast here, and we'll do it this way here. Yeah, you can see me now still. Kind of look at the temperatures we saw out there yesterday. It was warm. We saw the warmest for many of us for the year so far. This is something we've been talking about all week long. It finally arrived above normal temperatures, right around 90 in the valley. Not so bad in the mountains, but 70s and 80s there. And obviously the cool spot was on the coast. But we're going to be dropping our temperatures down. We're not going to get anywhere near 90 again for today, at least for the valley. Of course, anywhere else either. But this morning, pretty mild. Temperatures in the low 60s by 8 o'clock this morning. Plenty of sunshine. Still some fog along the coast. Temperatures in the mid 40s for the coast out there this morning. Right now, we're sitting at 54 degrees for Redding, 57 for Oroville, 35 out in Alturas, and 50 degrees for Crescent City, and 46 degrees right now in Eureka. Let's take a look at that satellite image. Doesn't look like there's much out there, does it? You got that line of clouds and a few showers kind of moving on in here. But that line of clouds is actually going to break into two pieces. There's also some cold and unstable air behind it. See the speckled clouds? That's the colder air. That's what's going to help to destabilize the atmosphere a little bit more over the next couple of days. But not everyone's going to get caught in that instability. So let's see what I'm talking about here, at least for today. For those of you that have any outdoor plans today, all morning, everyone, mountains, coast, valley, everyone's going to be dry. But we're starting to see those clouds begin to develop here by midday. Okay, now we're going to take you into 3 o'clock this afternoon. Where's most of the activity? Modoc County, Lassen County. That's it. Now, there may be a little pop-up sprinkle or light shower in Siskiyou County, parts of Trinity County as well. But overall, dry there as well. Dry for the valley, plenty of sunshine. All right, now we're going to take you into about late afternoon, early evening. You see that little pop-up near Reading? Some models want to bring that all the way into the valley, as far south as possibly northern Tehama County. I'd say even north of Red Bluff. So Cottonwood, Anderson, Reading, Palisadro, City of Shasta Lake, Old Shasta, Lakehead, maybe all seen that potential for a late afternoon, early evening shower or an off chance for an isolated thunderstorm. So just be aware of that, but keep your outdoor plans if you're in the valley and in those areas I just mentioned. Just keep looking to the sky to the south. That's where you're going to watch it coming from. It's going to be coming from south, moving its way northward. But by 5 p.m., look at this. We're not seeing much activity out there when you kind of just look at the whole picture here. Now, by tonight, I think there's going to be some more redevelopment in northern Shasta, northern Trinity, and Siskiyou County. That's overnight tonight, and then by tomorrow, that's a whole other story where we're going to see that as well, which we'll get into in our deeper dive here in a bit. Beach hazard statement has been issued for today for the coast with the large breaking waves, something to be aware of if you're going to be on the coast. So for today, temperatures in the low 80s, not the 90s. That certainly is nice. There's the best chance for thunderstorms off to the east. Now, I think places like Bernie, Shingletown, Manton, Paradise, Fall River Mills, most likely you'll steer clear of these thunderstorms. Most of it will be in Modoc County, Lassen County. Plumas County, places like Quincy, Portola, I think your chances are slimmer. And then, of course, out towards Trinity County, Siskiyou County, mostly dry today. Dry for the North Coast. Now, here's what I'm going to say about today. For the North Coast, Trinity County, Siskiyou County, and really anywhere in the mountains. You could see a stray sprinkle, could see a stray shower, but most of the thunderstorm activity is going to be in Lassen and Modoc counties today, and dry for the most part for the valley. Tonight, we're looking at temperatures mid to upper 50s in the valley, 40s for most of the higher elevations, and mid 40s for the coast. Mainly overcast skies tonight. That's going to keep those temperatures fairly mild, and not to mention that warmer air is in place, although we're starting to see things drop with those temperatures. So really, the bigger headline for the valley could be the winds. Today, a little breezy for your Saturday. I think the strongest winds will be on Sunday. Then we go into your Monday, and it's warming back up. And by the way, look at Saturday. If you remember earlier this week, I was forecasting temperatures in the low to mid 60s for Saturday. Now the forecast model's really backing off on not only the chances for rain, but also how cool it's going to get. But still, 72 degrees for Reading. That's a lot better than 90 that we saw yesterday, that's for sure. Take a look at the coast. Windy for you on the coast here for Saturday, Sunday. Now, as I mentioned, coast, inland, and even Trinity County. You could see a stray sprinkle, a light shower here or there, most likely staying mainly dry though for the next couple of days. Sunday, it's dry, and we're warming back up through next week. All right, let's take a look at Siskiyou, Modoc, and Eastern Mountains. So for Siskiyou County, yes, maybe a stray sprinkle, a light shower today for Siskiyou County, but it's this evening and tonight that I think you're going to see the bulk of any rain or even thunderstorms. Alturas, Modoc County, Eastern Mountains, mainly Lassen and Plumas counties, you've got the best chances for thunderstorms today and tomorrow. Now, speaking of tomorrow, best chances will be where I mentioned, but also Plumas County and Eastern Shasta County, maybe even Eastern Tehama County, getting in that as well. So places like Bernie, today I think you may dodge most of the activity. But tomorrow, Bernie, you may be looking at some of those showers and thunderstorms. So that's a quick look at your forecast. Let's take a look at some of the cameras out there this morning. Taking a look at the beautiful, beautiful sunrise and the sunshine that we are seeing out there this morning. We're not really seeing much in the way of those winds out there this morning. You can see Main Street, Chico. Of course, it's a little bit later than I'm typically showing this here, so that sun is really poking out here and making things pretty bright out there this morning. Highway 99 at Neal Road. Looks like the traffic is flowing smoothly there, and you've got the sunny skies out there this morning. Sunny skies out at Sundial Bridge Drive on Highway 44. Things are looking good there. This is a look at Harbor District. Look at that. Ooh, that is beautiful. So there are some breaks in the clouds. We're not really looking at much in the way of fog up in Crescent City, just kind of the mostly cloudy skies, but dry. It's dry out there. Take a look at the camera out there in Elk Country, just north of Trinidad. Looks like we are seeing, I'd say just mainly some mid and high level clouds out there this morning. There may be some fog out closer to, say, the Eureka area, for example. But that's kind of a look at what's going on out there this morning. How you doing on this Friday? You have any big plans this weekend? Who's got big plans this weekend? I don't have any. But here's the thing. If you have plans this weekend, outdoor plans, do note that if you're in Modoc County and Lassen County in particular, be prepared for showers and thunderstorms. If you live in Bernie, if you live in eastern Shasta County in general, be prepared for the potential for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, but not necessarily today. Plumas County, Saturday, I would say your best chances will be late in the day Saturday. Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. Trinity County, Siskiyou County, Saturday, I don't think you're going to see much activity. You may see a stray sprinkle, a light shower, that's it. Del Norte, Humboldt counties, mainly dry, mostly cloudy. The Valley, mainly dry. But here's what I'm going to say about the Valley tomorrow. We could be looking at the potential, if there's enough clearing, you could see some afternoon convection. That is, if you get enough clearing, the daytime heating at the surface, that heat then rises. And we could see a stray shower, maybe even a thunderstorm late in the day tomorrow. But we'll get into all that here just a little bit later. So what do you say we get right to it and get to the forecast, get your deeper dive forecast? I need to mention our sponsor. Coffee with Kruger is made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. It wasn't too long ago someone was complaining about some of the ads that I had. And my take on that is, do you complain about ads on TV? Do you complain about ads? It's a free service that I'm offering. There are other people doing what I'm doing, which they're not part of my national group, but there are other people doing what I'm doing, and they are charging people to watch their weather forecasts. I want to make this free for everybody. That's the bottom line. But the only way I can do that is I got to have sponsors. That's just the bottom line. That's the way it works. So I'm very grateful for their support, and I hope you are too, because without them, what you're watching right now, what Weather NorCal is would not exist. That's the bottom line. And I just think it's great that I'm getting all this great support from our local sponsors. I think that's fantastic. And I'm so grateful for Wind River. I'm so grateful for our primary sponsor, Crown Motors, as well. But made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino, that is, they sponsor Coffee with Kruger. The Coffee with Kruger exists because of Wind River Resort and Casino. I want to thank them. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. All right, let's go and take a look at the forecast here now. And we're going to take a look at some of the high temperatures we saw out there yesterday. We did get up to 90 as expected for most of us in the valley. In fact, it was even warmer out towards Corning at about 92, 91 for Oroville, 73 for Alturas, 75 degrees out in Susanville, but cooler along the coast there. Temperatures were in the low 50s yesterday. Now, right now, mid to upper 50s for the valley, mainly 30s and 40s for the higher elevations, and we got upper 40s to low 50s along the coast. All right, so here's your headlines. Cooler and unsettled today and tomorrow. We're going to start to see the temperature drop today, even more so on Saturday. That's the peak of the cooling trend on Saturday. But we're also looking at gusty winds. The wind's picking up a little bit this afternoon, especially for the valley. Tomorrow, the coast and the valley. And then Sunday, the strongest winds for both the coast and the valley as well. We'll call it windy at that point. No advisories at this point, but that may change. But then after that, dry and warmer as we go through next week. So there's the system right here. Kind of hard to believe that this is what could produce some showers and thunderstorms. But what's happening is this is going to split in two. Energy moving to the north and energy moving to our south. It's the energy moving to the south that's going to really have the biggest impact on us in the form of showers, thunderstorms, cooler temperatures, wind, all of that. Again, it's hard to believe. You look at that and you go, how could that have that much of an impact? But it will. This is in its developing phases right now. As it splits in two, it then kind of regroups. We see an area of low pressure develop. We'll start to see more of a spin here, and that spin will be to our south. Meanwhile, we've got cold speckled clouds here. These are the speckled clouds. That's colder air. That is what's moving in and allowing our temperatures to drop. But it's also helping to destabilize the atmosphere a little bit. We call it cool and unsettled, right? So let's take a look at futurecast here for today. There's some of the fog that we are seeing, but by noon, we're still dry. So I think if you have outdoor plans today, if you got to do some gardening or whatnot, you're fine. You don't have to worry about it. It's going to be beautiful, nice weather. You don't have to worry about rain or thunderstorms or anything like that through the morning hours. All right, but by midday, by the afternoon that is, if you're up in Modoc County, maybe parts of Lassen County, all right, you may see a stray shower, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm, but not much going on. Now, there could be a stray sprinkle, a light shower for Trinity County and also into parts of Siskiyou County. And where we're seeing all these clouds here, yeah, maybe a passing sprinkle or light shower as well. But the valley, plenty of sunshine by 3 o'clock this afternoon. But as we go into 5 p.m., we're kind of clearing things out a little bit here off to the east. But again, maybe just a chance for a stray sprinkle, light shower for all of the mountains. But there is the potential for some development late this afternoon, early evening, as you start heading into really closer to the foothills of Shasta and even Tehama County. Now, there still is, and you can see some of the clouds that we're seeing right here. We could see some development in the form of a light shower, maybe even an off chance for an isolated thunderstorm. That's later this late afternoon, early evening, around 5 p.m., give or take. So here's what I'm going to say to that. If you live in any of these areas, if you live in Redding, Palisadro, Old Shasta, Anderson, Cottonwood, City of Shasta Lake, if you've got outdoor plans, something you're planning for late afternoon, early evening, here's what I say. Keep those plans. Don't worry about it. Just keep your eyes to the sky. And just look in this general area. If you're say, well, really look to your south, bottom line, because that's where it's going to be coming from. It's going to be coming from the south, working its way northward. So if the skies are looking pretty ominous to your south, you might want to think about bringing things inside, because that's when it starts looking at that potential coming in from the south, working its way northward. But otherwise, if you don't see those ominous skies 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, I think you're okay. I think you'll be fine. And then, of course, as we go into tonight, 10 o'clock, we're seeing some redevelopment here. Now, this is more in the form of the area of low pressure that's beginning to develop and that southerly flow. And we've got these disturbances that kind of come in. So that's what's helping to destabilize the atmosphere a bit. And really, this model really wants to focus and hone in on central Siskiyou County, northern Trinity County, and northern Shasta County. This is where we're seeing the bulk of the activity based on this model. But you know, you've got to give it a little bit of leeway on either side here. So I would say the chances for showers and thunderstorms for Siskiyou County, northern Trinity County in particular, and north of the valley, you've got the chance for showers and thunderstorms overnight tonight. This is when I think the bulk of the rain will be in this area here, is tonight and early tomorrow morning. But then by tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., it's actually fairly dry. We're seeing a bit of a break from the activity. But very quickly, we'll start to see those showers and thunderstorms popping up. Now, what we saw today, or what we will see today, is mainly to the north and east. Eastern Shasta County, Bernie, for example, I think you'll dodge any of those showers or thunderstorms. But tomorrow, much closer to Bernie. So Bernie, Fall River Mills, right? Out towards Lassen Park, chance for showers, thunderstorms. But places like Shingletown, probably not. But that's noon on Saturday. Now, this is also the key that I'm looking at here. You see how we have some clearing here. If we get enough clearing in parts of the valley, we could see the potential for an isolated shower or thunderstorm to develop in the late afternoon, early evening hours. Why? Because if we get enough clearing, that heats the surface, that heat at the surface collects and eventually rises. We were talking about that cooler air moving in, right? That's unstable. When you have warm air with some moisture in there, that's what creates the showers and thunderstorms as it works its way upward. So if we get enough of that clearing, we can't rule out, even though the model's not picking up on it, we can't rule out a stray shower or thunderstorm as we go into Saturday afternoon in parts of the valley. So you see how it's clearing out, but it depends on how quickly it clears out. If it clears out before noon, all right, the chances may be a little bit better, but still not guaranteed. Where we're seeing most of the activity, once again, Modoc, Lassen County, and even northeastern Shasta County. But by the way, you're not seeing much for Siskiyou, Trinity, Del Norte, Humboldt counties. However, all within this, you could see a stray sprinkle or a light shower. But I think that's it. I don't think we're getting anything all that heavy for those areas. All right, so we take into about 6 p.m. We've got partly cloudy skies in the valley. Most of it's off to the east. That's beginning to die down as we go into Saturday night. There's Sunday morning. I was expecting maybe the potential for some wraparound moisture coming into the eastern mountains and Modoc County. Now I'm taking that out. I think it'll be dry Sunday morning and all day Sunday. Look at that, sunny skies. So for those of you that are concerned about any chances for rain, sprinkles, or anything like that on Saturday, on Sunday, picture perfect day, because it's not going to warm up that much more either. Now look at the forecast rainfall totals. It's actually showing most of it here in Siskiyou County and not as much to the north and east. However, that being said, this is mainly for tonight. This that you're seeing here is mainly for tonight. What you're seeing here in Redding may be this evening and tonight, if we get anything. Now, if you see a thunderstorm pop over Redding, all right, now you're talking a tenth, maybe a little bit more of a tenth and an inch of rainfall. But anything that does pop up, it won't last for very long. It's going to hit you, and then it's out of there very quickly as these storms move to the north pretty quickly. And then you can see maybe, I think this might be overdoing it, honestly. You're talking maybe a trace to 100th or two here and there for Trinity County westward into Del Norte and Humboldt counties. And again, better chances for some more of that measurable rainfall off to the east. But you see, it's all going to be isolated and scattered in nature. So a lot of these numbers you can't really take to heart because it just depends on where you are and where those stronger thunderstorms develop. All right, so forecast winds. Let's talk about that too, because the winds are going to be something we need to really pay attention to. This afternoon, you'll notice it in the valley. Those winds are going to be a little gusty, 20, 25 miles per hour. Not so bad for the coast, a little breezy off to the eastern mountains, but we're just noticing the winds beginning to pick up here for the valley this afternoon. Tomorrow, look at the coast, 25, 35 miles per hour. A little gusty in the Warner Mountains there, but Modoc County is seeing some gusty winds at times, and you can see that north wind. Now, notice it's mainly north and west side of the valley. We've got the strongest winds, maybe not as strong for Chico. That's tomorrow afternoon. Let's take you into Sunday morning. Oh man, now it's picking up, right? 25, 35, maybe close to 40 miles per hour. No wind advisories just yet. That may change. Gusty winds along the coast too, and some of those higher mountain ridge tops could see some of that too, towards, say, central Siskiyou County as well. And that wind sticks around all day Sunday. This may linger on in Monday, by the way, too, so we'll have to watch for that. Warmer than normal conditions are in the forecast, so yeah, we see the nice cool trend here over the weekend, but boy, it shoots right back up for next week. Upper 80s on average, even some low 90s for the valley. Temperature is a little bit cooler if you're heading down towards the Four Corners region. So here's the trend. We talked about the roller coaster ride. This is the roller coaster ride I've been talking about all week long. We're now in that downward trend. We're now putting our hands up and going, wee, temperature, the temperatures are dropping, so we're heading downward, right? That's where we're going right now. So that cooler air continues to come on down. Saturday, that's the coolest. Now, not as cool as we initially thought. We're thinking maybe mid-60s, more like the low 70s for the valley on Saturday. Then that continues to shoot down to the south. And by the way, this is an area of low pressure I was talking about. High pressure here, the difference between the two. That's why we've got the gusty winds for Saturday, Sunday, and possibly even into parts of Monday as well. But temperatures are starting to increase, but not by much. Still pretty pleasant for your Sunday. Then by Monday, Tuesday, that cooler air moves on out. High pressure settles back in, and it stays in place all next week. Temperatures, as mentioned, in the valley, upper 80s, maybe some even low 90s. This cooler air is just going to stay to our north and west and ride up and over that ridge. In fact, we look at the 10-day trend, and you can see for the valley there again, we're having some fun. We're heading down that roller coaster ride, and you get down here to Saturday at about 72, but then it starts to tick back up, right? That ticking sound of those roller coasters, right? Ticking back up here, and then upper 80s, low 90s, a little drop, and then back up. But overall, upper 80s to low 90s through next week in the valley. Hey, let's take a look at those lake levels, and they're releasing more water from Shasta Lake, but we're still at 97% capacity. Have seen a minor drop here, but increases for Trinity Lake and Lake Oroville. Very healthy lake levels, and it's looking pretty darn nice. All right, so here are your wave heights for today. They will increase as we go into this evening and into tomorrow. There's a small craft advisory, but that won't take effect until this afternoon and evening. Beach hazard statement has been issued for the coast here until 5 o'clock today. Large breaking waves will be the biggest concern here. So here's what we've got. Marine forecast, southwest winds at 5 knots. Not a big deal, right? Waves, not that big of a deal either. But eventually, as we saw, those wave heights are increasing by this evening and into tonight. That's why there's a small craft advisory at that point, but not today, not through the afternoon. It's not until this evening that we've got that small craft advisory that will take effect. So here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures are going to be somewhere in the mid-80s as we get into Monday, Tuesday. So slight chance today, especially as we go into tonight. Slight chance for a sprinkle on Saturday, and then it's dry after that. We take you down to the south. I think the chances south of Highway 299 are very, very slim for any rainfall, minus, of course, maybe a sprinkle or two today and tomorrow, but warming up and drying out by the second half of the weekend. For southern Humboldt County, 70 degrees for Miranda, 69 degrees for Garberville, 67 degrees for Redcrest. You're mainly dry today, maybe a passing sprinkle, maybe a light shower. That's the case for Ferndale, Fortuna, Rio Dale. Anywhere in the North Coast, inland, coast, higher elevations, you're going to be mainly just looking at stray sprinkles and light showers today and tomorrow. That is it. I don't think we're going to see anything heavier than that. 63 degrees for Smith River, 60 for Gas Key, and 61 degrees for Oric, 72 degrees for Orleans. All right, so for Siskiyou County, not very wet today, but by this evening, I think everybody's got that chance for showers and thunderstorms that continues overnight. Not very wet for your Saturday, maybe a stray sprinkle. That's the case for Scott Valley as well. 75 degrees for Etna, 74 degrees in Callahan today. And for central and eastern Siskiyou County, just as I mentioned with that chance for rain, today, temperatures mainly in the low to even some mid-70s. Modoc County, you've got scattered showers and thunderstorms today and tomorrow, but by Sunday it dries out. It's the same situation for most of the Eastern Mountains, but see, this is why I talk about the Eastern Mountains being the one where I should probably have a 7th or 8th neighborhood, but that's just getting ridiculous. It's just too many. But this is the one that has several microclimates within itself. So we take a look at today. I would say Fall River Mills, Hat Creek, Old Station, basically eastern Shasta County westward dry. As you head into Lassen County, though, you got those showers and thunderstorms popping up this afternoon. That's the case again for Saturday. However, Saturday, we're going to see those showers and thunderstorms creep their way into eastern Shasta County. But for places like Shingletown, Paynes Creek, you may be pushing it as far as any showers and thunderstorms are concerned here for your Saturday. But then, of course, everyone's dry across the board by Sunday. All right, so for today, yes, it's Lassen County. We've got the best chance for those showers and thunderstorms. This will include Chester. This will include places like Westwood, for example. We head to the south. Chances are slimmer, at least this afternoon, for places in Plumas County. But by Saturday, I think especially late afternoon, early evening, this is when we'll see that better chance for some of those thunderstorms kind of popping up here. Dry for Paradise most likely today and tomorrow. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast. To the south, 83 for Los Molinos, 83 degrees for Durham, 82 for Gridley. Breezy today and tomorrow, and then of course those gusty winds I've been talking about here for your Sunday. All right, here's your look at your 7-day forecast for Chico. If you see a stray shower, maybe an off chance for an isolated thunderstorm late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Don't be surprised, but mainly dry. And then, of course, it's dry and windy and sunny and warmer on Sunday, and in upper 80s to even some mid-80s for most of next week. We take you up to the north, 83 degrees for Redding, 83 degrees for Cottonwood, 78 for Lakehead and Whiskeytown and Palisadro, about 83 degrees. And looking at your 7-day forecast for Redding, maybe an off chance for a stray shower this evening. It's one of those things, of course, if you were watching, you kind of know what I was talking about, the time frame of all that. And then mainly dry. Really, overall, not a lot of rain for the valley. And then we're windy on Sunday, warmer, upper 80s to about 90 for Monday through Thursday of next week. All right. That is going to do it for our Friday. Again, I'm sorry I got in here a little late. That's why we're kind of coming up a little bit later than normal. Kind of exiting the show here. Had some technical issues. I still got to fix some of the issues. I was able to, through the back door, figure out how to get everybody streaming on Facebook, and I'm glad I was able to figure that out. I'm proud of myself for that, but I'm not so proud of myself for getting this other program to work properly. What do you do? What do you do? In the meantime, have yourselves a great Friday. I will continue to give you updates here at noon. Be sure to check there. Also check at 6 o'clock this evening. We've got Chase Wilson working for you this weekend. He'll have your Saturday and Sunday updates, and I'll be back, of course, on Monday with Coffee with Kruger at 6:30. Until then, have yourselves a great rest of your afternoon and an even better weekend. Let's take a look at some of the cameras out there and see what's going on, and let's get you set up for that. And then we'll kind of wrap it up and call it a day. Have a great day, everyone, and have a great weekend. Saturday, sure, not out of the question, but not much going on. Then we're thinking maybe some lingering showers Sunday morning. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. So by Sunday, we are done with these chances. We're going to clear things out Sunday afternoon, and we're looking at dry conditions. Getting warmer too. So looking at the latest forecast model data, this is mainly from, maybe this evening and tonight. But overall, you can see not much going on in the valley. We're seeing most of it to the north and east. I think this might be overdoing it, quite honestly. You might pick up 100th here and there, but overall, not much going on off to the west. All right, so let's take a look at the winds through the weekend. Here we are, Friday, 5 p.m. today. Mainly northwest winds from the north end of the valley, south winds from the south. Nothing major, just a bit breezy out there, a little breezy for the coast and off to the north and east. It's tomorrow that we're going to see those stronger winds. Now, you see 8 o'clock in the morning, not that big of a deal. The winds are picking up here for the coast in particular. And you can see here, north winds, 15, 20, 25 miles per hour in the valley. We'll call it breezy again. We'll call it windy, though, for the coast. You're talking 25, 35 miles per hour, approaching 40. But look at Sunday. Look at that. Now you're approaching 40 miles per hour in some cases for the valley. So this is when I expect some of the strongest winds. No advisories just yet, but that may change later today. That may change over the weekend because we do expect some of the strongest winds here for your Sunday. That may linger on into Monday. We'll see. So here's what's going on. There's the cooler air moving. Remember I was talking about it splitting in two? There's the split right here. Here's the split. We've got this area of low pressure right here, another one off toward north. So by Saturday, you've got the area of low pressure. The rotation around that is what's helping to produce the instability. And the cooler temperatures and the winds. This is helping generate those winds. That pushes to the south over Southern California. This is going to be another reason why we have the winds. High pressure here, low pressure here. We're in the squeeze play. We get those strong north winds for Sunday. Now the cooler air is still in place, but it's beginning to warm up on Sunday. Then we go into your Monday, really all the way through next week. High pressure will be the dominant feature. Now, the main area of high pressure will be off to our east. We are seeing some of this cooler air trying to move in, but it's going to be warmer next week. We're talking upper 80s on average for the valley, but I think some of us getting into the 90s too. So it's warming up. Warmer than normal is what we're expecting here over the next 10, 14 days or so. So it's going to be pretty warm out there. 10-day trend. There's that drop, not as much as we were thinking initially. We're back up to the upper 80s, maybe some low 90s through next week into that next weekend. So we'll be above normal. It's going to be pretty warm. Your wave heights for today, not that much of an issue, but by this evening, by tomorrow, now we're talking about most likely gale warnings going into the weekend because of those gusty winds. Beach hazard statement has been issued here for today until 5 p.m. Large breaking waves along the coast. That's something to be aware of if you're going to be spending time on the beaches. That could be a potentially dangerous situation for you. Taking a look at your marine forecast for your Friday, we do have a small correct advisory, but that won't take effect until this evening. Otherwise, not that bad with the winds. They're out of the southwest at about 5 knots, but they probably will be increasing later on this afternoon, and in particular going to this evening and for tomorrow. So here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures will be about 80 degrees, give or take, a little bit cooler out towards the roof. I've got the chance in there. Now, the best chances, I think, for Trinity County will be this evening and tonight. They'll be mainly north of Highway 299. Otherwise, I think to the south, you're probably dry today and tomorrow. North coast, very good chance you'll be dry today and tomorrow as well. If you see a passing sprinkle or light shower today or tomorrow anywhere in the north coast, inland coast, higher elevations, that could be the case here. But otherwise, not much going on rain-wise. Now, for Siskiyou County, I think your best chances will be this evening and tonight. If you see an isolated shower or thunderstorm pop up this afternoon or even Saturday afternoon, don't be surprised, but the bulk of it will be this evening and tonight. Today, tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms for Modoc County. Temperatures will be in the mid-70s. We're drying out by Sunday. For the eastern mountains, today, tomorrow, your best chances are Lassen County. Plumas County getting in some of that, especially Saturday. Eastern Shasta County getting in that on Saturday. But it's mainly Lassen County that you get the thunderstorms today and tomorrow. But again, tomorrow, as we go into Saturday, eastern Shasta County and parts of Plumas.